there everyone, Noir here and welcome to Fan Theories. As always, if you are new to this series or haven't seen Petscop, I would highly suggest pausing this video and watching those first, because throughout this series I will be referring back to previous points I've made to improve upon them. I'll give you a couple of seconds here to do that and then you can carry on after you've caught up. Okay, so here we are, Petscop 14. The episode that until a couple of weeks ago I was in two minds on whether or not it existed. But it does exist, and here I am, back to tackle the series that started this fan theories rollercoaster for me. Let's begin. We start the episode in a previously locked room of the house, seemingly the room of Marvin and his wife. This room contains two beds, a collection of framed discs, and what may or may not be a model of the windmill. The now familiar demo reel message is ever present on the screen, which we officially have confirmed to be an in-game recording function of events. Paul goes to the windmill, which gives us the message of, "This windmill vanished off the face of the earth. Here's a similar puzzle for you, Marvin." There are two pictures of a door. In the first picture, the door is closed. In the second picture, taken later, the door is open. Nobody opened the door. The door did not open itself. The door, in fact, did not open at all. What happened? This is a direct jab at Marvin, as well as a hint towards the evidence that Raina had regarding the windmill's disappearance. In the note that Raina wrote for Marvin in the child library, he mentioned two photographs, one with the windmill, Marvin and wife's sister, one without. He's well aware that proposing this question to Marvin within the game, which was intended for him, would make him worried that he's figured out what had happened. Moving on, we go back to the previous room with the calendar and the bucket. Paul vaguely explains how he managed to find the house in the game, whilst also musing over whether or not the same tactic could be used here, pretending something was there when in fact it wasn't. So the drawing that Paul had mentioned in Petscop 11 was indeed a map of another area in the game, but we're not told which area it was. He then asks the viewer to pretend that the door was open, which is closed in his playthrough. But then it phases into a demo recording where the door is open. The game literally plays two different versions of itself. I'm guessing that the two versions that we're seeing here are the 1997 draft that was meant for Marvin, and the revised version that Paul is currently viewing. We also see another censored item where the windmill was earlier, ticking off the something on a wall in a black house item. One more to go. We also finally learn who the new owners of the channel are. Paul calls it the family YouTube, so Paul's family are indeed the ones who are telling him to keep going. Another thing that's mentioned is that Paul assumes that the person that was in the demo recording at the beginning was Marvin, which would mean that Marvin did play the game at some point. He then proceeds to interact with the table that holds the numerous picture frames that hold discs, and I would say that these discs are copies of Petscop. Paul then reviews the footage and once again muses over the fact that the demo recordings can either be copies of his playthrough or just his inputs in a different area, which links us back to episode 13 where they said that your inputs will be useful but your feedback will be even more useful. He also informs us that the ending of Petscop 13 that we saw was not the events that he saw. But if that's the case, the question is, if he didn't see the messages that we saw, why did he follow the instructions that it was giving? We move on to another attempt at solving the room, which involves the bucket. He manages to get the bucket into the room, but then he leaves it there. We then cut to attempt 22 when the previous one was 5, and he heads over to the wall that's censored and paints over it, rendering it visible, but the item that was being censored is now gone. His reward for this is a key which opens the door he was trying to get into, Doing so gives us the sound file of when he jumped into the present way back in Petscop 9 that took him to Ethan Care. But this time it takes him back to the Garalina logo, which is now on its side. Upon opening up the save files, the file name has been changed to Strange Situation, and Paul remarks on his other save files being deleted. Once he loads up this new file, he's back on the road outside of the house, which now has a sign pointing left, a picture of Care, and some balloons on top of a picture of a cake. There's a cheery atmosphere within the house, which is eerie now, considering all that we've seen. And the avatar is now wearing a party hat, there's gifts laid around the room, and the following message appears on the screen. "You made it! Happy birthday! Why are you covering your face?" Oh. My guess is that considering the party was for Care based on her picture being outside of the house, this message was intended for Care NLM. We get more messages afterwards. "Of course I recognize you. Those eyes, that nose, it's still you. Go ahead and have a slice. Oh, don't worry about those." The term "those" probably referring to the drawings of the blue tool. Paul goes to the calendar of 1997, confirming that the day that we're seeing is November the 12th, 2 days after the missing girl was found. The messages appear again. I sure hope you've realised by now, it doesn't matter how long you've been gone. It doesn't matter how much you've changed. You aren't lost. Stop wandering and come home. So the events still appear to be lining up with the disappearance of Care A, ending up with her being placed into an adoption centre or the child library. There's a new calendar which is red instead of black, and Paul cross-checks the correlation between the days on the calendar and what possible years it could be. He ends up with 1995 or 2017. Paul changes room and the screen reverts to its usual New Maker plain style. The text goes on. "Care, are you okay? You ran straight into the door. Did you think it was open?" Oh, poor baby. Paul then goes to where the discs were earlier and we see a new person talking this time. "Where's the disc? Where are the discovery pages?" "What are you talking about? What disc? Discovery pages? Jill, stop ignoring me. Get in here and show me where that disc is. Jill!" "No, Care, this is Mommy. This is your mom. Sweetie, I'm right here in front of you. There's no one else here." "What are you looking at? What's over there?" "Care, can't you hear me? Can't you see me waving? Snap out of it. Care, where are you going?" We then hear something that shakes up everything we knew about what Petscop is.
I think that was based off of a conversation that I had last year on my birthday.
Paul is not who we thought he was. The game crashes and Paul reloads the game and goes into the garage, which holds a computer with the word Tarnacop, which is Spanish for pickaxe. The monitor shows the infamous website that we heard about way back in Petscop 1, but as of writing this script I've been unable to find any real version of it. Perhaps that'll appear further down the line. Paul ends the episode when he returns to the room where he saw the previous conversation, which does not appear again. So, based on this new information, my guess is that Care is indeed Paul, hence their age being exactly the same and the avatar being the one that's being spoken to instead of seeing Care. But now that we've seen this conversation, I think that Paul is more than just Care. In my opinion, it's quite possible that Paul could be Care and Marvin. I believe that Paul may be suffering from dissociative identity disorder, and the game was in fact made for him by association. I think that Petscop was created to show Paul all of his other personalities, as well as the things he's done since he's been suffering from the condition, which includes the death of his half-brother, Michael Hammond. Here are some of the symptoms of dissociative identity disorder. Lapses in memory.
Yeah, on that topic,
Blackouts.
I don't remember meeting this girl at all.
Recalling events differently than how they happened.
Those demo recordings can be different, right? They can be different from when I was playing. So when I caught all those pets and it showed the text, that was different from what it showed when I was playing.
Encountering people where to one personality, the person's unknown, but to another, they are. Finding items in your possession, but not knowing how they got there.
Alright, so, this is just to, prove to you that I'm not lying about this game that I found.
And finally, being called names that are completely unlike their own name. As I've shown here throughout the series, we've been shown glimpses of all of these symptoms, in one way or another. So, everything I thought about Petscop, some things stayed the same, others just got a whole lot stranger. And that brings this episode's analysis to a close. If you enjoyed this episode, let me know your thoughts and theories in the comments section, and even if you didn't, let me know how I can improve the series for you. Until next time, people, keep on surviving.